Hi everyone, welcome to GameGorgon. My name's Indigo.
And I'm Sam.
And today we're actually going to be doing an awesome interview with Michael. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks for having me along.
No, thank you for allowing us to pester you with the amount of questions that we have for you. For anyone that doesn't know, what is your relationship with Monster of the Week?
I'm to blame for Monster of the Week. So But dating back to when I got into watching Supernatural and was sitting down thinking, there really needs to be a role-playing game that does this, and none of the ones that I could find quite did it. So I ended up writing it myself. That's the basic story behind it all.
How long has Monster of the Week been out?
The first edition came out 2012, I think it was, which was crowdfunded on Indiegogo. When Fred Hicks at Evil Hat Productions got himself a copy of it and played it and had a great time doing it, he got in touch with me to suggest doing a version in partnership with them. We kind of did the revised edition with a bit of extra stuff in it and a lot more art and all that sort of thing. 2014, I think. So hard to remember the exact dates now.
That's the version that we've been kind of running our games off of.
Other than the newest, which is Tome of Mysteries, has there been any sort of supplements since the original?
A couple of things on drive-through. I've got my very silly adventure, Too Many Draculas, that people can get in PDF, some extra hunter classes, but that's been about it.
I think I've seen those extra hunter classes actually on drive-thru.
They're basically just some extra ones I came up with on the way that didn't quite fit into the main book.
So obviously I'm a huge fan of this game.
Cool, thank you.
When I heard about the Adventure Zone playing it, I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, definitely.
I was like, oh, what is this game? Like, I'm interested in learning more. So I picked up a copy and was just basically smitten with the entire idea of it. A lot of role-playing games are designed really around kind of like group role-playing. And it seems like Monster of the Week sort of has a more individualistic take on that. Like it has a playbook specifically called The Chosen, and it also has a specific line in the Hunter playbook that is talking about how every character should play their hunter as if they are the hero of the story.
Well, first, that thing about playing your hunter as a hero, that's not really intended to make people not think about the group, but more to encourage that kind of active adventuring perspective, not shying away from problems, but jumping in and trying to solve them. But that said, I mean, there's definitely some of the hunter types which lend themselves to like taking charge, like the chosen one, the professional, the initiate, all kind of can easily step into the role of I'm in charge of this group of monster hunters and everyone else ought to do what I say. But also there's the history section when you're making your hunter, where you go through and figure out the backstory between you and everyone else on the team. Although it doesn't have that same sort of mechanical teeth of like giving you a bonus specifically, going through that as a group really kind of binds the team together.
Talking about like sort of the small details that end up affecting the game as a whole. Is there anything that you think is maybe sort of like a more subtler aspect of the game, or a smaller design decision that you think really kind of affected how the game came out?
One I can think of that I don't think people appreciate is the way harm and healing works. I think it's not very obvious as a player. You might get hit by a monster and you're pretty hurt. You can get hurt very badly in a fight, but kind of in the next scene, which would be, after an ad break in a TV show or something like that, you'll be a lot better. Healing's very quick and very easy in this game. That was very intentional on my part, because it was the idea of the action TV show characters who get really, really beaten up, and then, 2 scenes later they're fine, and maybe they've got a bandage,
Is there anything that was kind of like pitched in development that you guys didn't end up using, or anything that you think you would like to see more of in future versions of the game?
There is one big thing that got dropped along the way. Early versions before I even came across Apocalypse World, or it kind of turned into an Apocalypse World based game, which was that when the hunters were investigating, they'd get to say what they discovered. The whole group would contribute to what was going on and what the clues meant and that sort of thing. Which I kind of like, just for the easing the load on the game master. In play, that just didn't really work. It didn't really come together as a whole mystery.
That kind of guiding hand to move the game in one direction,
or even just that kind of consistent underlying foundation so that everything can make sense along the way. Not even about where you're going, but just that it's built on a firm base. In terms of the future, to be honest, I don't really have any plans for Monster of the Week in the future right now. Like, having got the Tome of Mysteries done has been a pretty big piece of work. It feels at the moment I'm happy with where it is. I do have some other game designs I'm working on and trying very hard to finish. That's more where my future plans are right now.
That's kind of a good segue to talk about the Tome of Mysteries. What, as a player / keeper, are we gaining by getting this book?
As a player, for your hunter, we add a couple of new rules. We've got some new hunter types, which are all really fun. The Gumshoe, who's like your occult-aware private eye. It's got quite a noiry feel. Been a lot of fun when I've seen it in play. Bit of a different style of investigating. The Hex, which is a witchy spellcaster, quite a powerful spellcaster, but with a very different style to the spooky or the spellslinger. Late season Willow, when she got addicted to dark magic, pretty much the Hex right there. The Pararomantic, Bella type, in love with a monster character. So they can draw on their relationship with whatever monster they're in love with to get quite a few different advantages, and also tend to bring a lot of drama into the hunter's space when things go badly. And the last one is the Searcher, my contribution to the new hunter types, kind of your true believer investigator into the supernatural, who had like a initial weird event that got them interested, and they are still searching for what the meaning behind that was. Mulder minus the FBI side of his character.
Sure.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That Pararomantic class sounds like it completely brings a new side.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Character. And of course, whatever they're in love with is not necessarily a friend to any of the other hunters. Yeah. The other thing for hunters is we've got alternative weird moves. Every monster hunter knows how to cast a few spells and has the use magic move. And this edition allows you to say, either for a particular campaign or for each individual hunter, they can pick a different weird move to be their specialty. So that allows people to be perhaps telekinetic or have a empathy, where they can detect other people's emotions or other things' emotions. Got quite a wide variety of different weirdnesses you can have if you're running a campaign and you don't think magic's quite right for it, especially if it's something like Fringe, maybe, where you want maybe telepathy makes more sense than magic, or just if you want each hunter to be a bit more different, you can take your own one based on what your concept is. We've got the book here. We've got a little bit for the hunters. The rest of it's for kids. There's a new kind of mystery, which is the weird phenomenon mystery, where you don't want it to be a monster, but like some kind of weird effect is happening. Again, this is getting towards more Fringe or X-Files style of mystery. Rather than a monster to defeat, it's a weird thing to investigate and figure out what's causing it and stop it. And then there is a huge pile of advice from all kinds of different people on all kinds of different subjects about running the game. How to run a con game, how to run a game without preparing it in advance, how to make your game much more gothic in the literary sense. That article, by the way, is fantastic. I really recommend it. It's from Marek Golonka, who has just absolutely hit the nail on the head with like how to bring all that kind of gothic style into your game. And then the main thing, which is like the other 2/3 of the book, is 29 mysteries that you can just use. And again, they're from all kinds of different contributors all around the world. So huge range of styles, types of monster, everything. So yeah, just full of cool stuff to use in your game.
As the QueueTimes keeper, especially those articles, I'm really looking forward to digging into those and you know, maybe taking bits and pieces and bringing them into the rest of the campaign that I'm going to be running. I have a player in my game who seems honestly more like someone who might not have as much magical influence on them.
Yep.
So that might be something that I try to bring in with them, or ask them if that's something they'd be interested in doing instead of using magic.
That's exactly what it's for. It's intended for those characters where it just doesn't seem quite right.
Yeah,
you know, that's what I hope. Official release date was last Monday, the 13th. So it should be starting to turn up in shops now.
If you haven't picked it up and you do like Monster of the Week, go check your game store.
Yeah.
If they don't have it, go ask for it. I believe you can also order through Evil Hats. I believe you can order through their website.
Yeah.
Although that's US only, I think they international shipping's too much. You may have to wait a little bit longer for it to get to your game store.
The base game is available via PDF. Is Tome of Mysteries available?
Yeah. It's up on drive-thru as well, and possibly you can get it through Evil Hat.
So that's another option, perhaps, if people are international and if they really want to play this new version of the game. They go search out that PDF.
Now, before we kind of end, you did mention something that I kind of want to go back on. You mentioned that you were working on some other things.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can talk about?
Yes, there is. I can talk about these at great length. I've got 3 games that I'm kind of actively trying very hard to finish. I don't know if you are familiar with when you're writing something or have a big project and how getting it mostly done is quite easy, but finishing it is very, very hard. 2 of them are in that state.
Usually it's that last bit doesn't get done until I remember that the deadline is tomorrow.
I find, the thing is, because I'm working self-publishing for myself, so I don't have a deadline. It's quite a problem. I'll do it in order of how long I've been working on them.
Okay.
So the first one is a game that's called Devil in the Deep, which I've been working on longer than Monster of the Week, and it is still not finished. It's naval adventure stories along the lines of Hornblower or Aubrey and Maturin, Napoleonic, Age of Sail, heroic sailors fighting at sea. I'm pretty happy with where the rules are now. After a few playtests recently, I've still got to kind of just get it all out into the form of a final book. Next up is one called Heavy Metal Eons.
That's up on your website.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's a draft there. The role-playing game of, like, the stories in heavy metal songs. Crazy science fantasy adventures with wizards and space troopers and all that kind of thing. It's designed to be, like, for quick one-shots. You just go, have these over-the-top characters, go on a massive adventure, and it's good fun. And again, rules are pretty much done. I just need to actually write it all.
I also like that you have an official playlist that belongs with it.
Oh, yeah.
Before this interview.
Yeah, I got inspired for that. I was at a metal gig, and I was just thinking about the songs they were playing, and these would make good adventures.
There you go.
And the last one, which is going to be a bit of a smaller game, I've just started working on it at the moment. Current working title is The Natural Philosophers, a little game where you are like fantasy scholars from like an 18th century-ish world, different world to ours, and you're being sent on an expedition through a portal to a different alien world to explore it and discover it. This was inspired by a comment from Jonathan Walton on Twitter about wanting games without combat. So this is a game with no combat. Everyone gets a notebook, and as you explore the world, you'll roll on these tables that give you prompts of what you might be discovering, and then everyone writes in their notebook what their scientist observed. Okay. And based on that, you kind of work towards your expedition's goals and slowly fill up this notebook with your notes and sketches of all these imaginary things you've found.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
It sounds like it's a game based pretty much entirely on world building.
Yes, exactly. It really is. And the idea of you having your notebook at the end with all this imaginary stuff you came up with, which I really like that idea. For the last couple of years, I've been keeping a journal of every game every role-playing game I play, mainly because I generally am the game master for my regular group. Mm-hmm. So it started as just kind of a way to remember what happened each session. But I've actually been really getting into that as well, just the accounts of, what happened in the game, and maybe a little bit of reflection on it as well. Because the Tome of Mysteries, it was kind of built out of the old Google Plus Monster of the Week Roadhouse community, where lots of people were sharing lots of cool stuff. And I put out this call for, I'd like to compile a big book of adventures and material. Most of the book was written by other people, not me. I was mainly the editor and compiler. So I just want to really put out a big thanks to all of those people who contributed and helped make it come to be, especially Mark Tygart, who wrote quite a lot of stuff that's in there and shared a ton online and still is. And it was him emailing me that kind of kicked it off in the first place. So thanks to all of you contributors to the book. It's fantastic what we've come up with.
I would like to also say thank you for coming on and talking to us.
You're welcome.
As soon as you feel like one of your books is done and ready to, and you want to talk about it again, I would love to have you come back on and we can talk.
Okay, I'll be sure to let you know as soon as I just finish it.
Thank you so much again, and everyone head down into the description. You'll see a link to go purchase the book if you want to go ahead and purchase it online.
Which you should.
Yes, absolutely. Until next time, my name's Indigo. You can reach me on Twitter at IndigoQT.
And I've been Sam Richardson. You can reach me on Twitter at Laggardson, Laggardson. And this coming Wednesday for my Monster of the Week campaign.
Is there a good place for people to reach out to you?
If you go to my website, they can get in touch with me via a variety of ways. That's genericgames.co.nz. Also on Twitter at motw_RPG.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Thanks again for having me. Bye.